Honey, that man couldn't afford a trip, let alone a wedding. I'm telling you right now that if you don't have a nice ceremony, I'm not coming. Mom, I know what you think and it's fine. You can keep thinking that way, but I know what's best for this family. I can't believe you're telling me this after everything I've said. I love him, Mom. I am not taking it back, Alexandra. Have the wedding you want alone. Your sister and I are not coming. Fine, if that's what matters to you. My name is Alex, and I'm a 32-year-old woman with an adventurous spirit and a knack for staying true to myself. My fiancé Ethan is the love of my life and my rock through thick and thin. He's not only my partner but also my number one supporter, always encouraging me to chase my dreams. My mom Sarah had raised my younger sister Lily and me as a single mother. Our upbringing wasn't easy, but it taught me the value of honesty and resilience. Lily was my best friend when we grew up together. Despite her money focused tendencies, I still cared deeply for her. To be completely honest, Lily inherited that quality from my mom. As for my family's obsession with wealth, it's just something I had to navigate. After a year of dating, Ethan finally proposed to me. It was during the weekend right before Ethan's birthday, so I surprised him with a weekend trip to the mountains, just the two of us, to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life. It turned out that he also had a surprise for me, but a much bigger, better one. As we reached the summit of a picturesque mountain peak, Ethan held my hand and looked into my eyes with so much love and warmth. It was as if time stood still, and in that moment, I knew he was about to make one of my dreams come true. With a smile, Ethan got down on one knee and pulled out a beautiful ring. My heart skipped a beat as he professed his love, and then he asked those four life changing words: "Will you marry me?" I didn't hesitate for a second before saying yes. The joy and excitement that washed over us were immeasurable, and at that moment we knew that our love was destined for a lifetime of happiness. With my engagement, I felt like it came time to introduce him to my mom and sister. I lived far away from my family, so I actually never introduced them to Ethan, at least not face to face. I was both excited and apprehensive. I wasn't sure how I was going to handle the situation because there was one little secret that I had yet to reveal to my family about Ethan. So, Ethan and I set up a dinner with my family. That was going to be the first time that Ethan officially met Mom and Lily. So this dinner felt like a big deal. I admitted to Ethan, can't help but feel nervous. I hope they like you. Don't worry, babe. I'll make sure to make a good impression. There was something I hadn't told him yet, the issue with my family and money. I had grown up in a household where money was always tight. My mom struggled to make ends meet as a single mother, and my sister Lily seemed to have developed an obsession with money because of it. But me, I couldn't care less about wealth. I loved Ethan for who he was, not for his bank account. Ethan, on the other hand, grew up rich. His family was so wealthy, he had to keep it a secret at first. I didn't find out how well off they were until we had gone out for a while. Plus, Ethan worked in tech and would soon inherit his parents' company, so he would be even richer. I didn't quite want that to be the topic of discussion at the family dinner. Babe, could we maybe not tell my family about how well off you are? It's just that money kind of makes them go a little crazy. Sure, babe. But I'm curious, why do you think it'll be a problem? I guess it's just because my family didn't have much when we were kids. That made my mom and Lily money obsessed, but I've always been the opposite. I just hope they don't judge you based on that. Ethan was understanding, assuring me that it would be fine no matter what. He shared a bit about his own experiences with wealth and how people's attitudes sometimes change when they find out you have money. He didn't want to tell me about it when we first went out, so he really understood my concern. I appreciated his empathy and was grateful to have him by my side. As the family dinner approached, my nerves were all over the place. I decided to call my mom before the dinner and tell her about Ethan's job without revealing the extent of his success. I was just hoping to get that topic out of the way so that she wouldn't mention it in front of Ethan later. At that point, Lily had recently gone through a tough breakup with her ex-fiancé Owen. They were already engaged, but then Owen unexpectedly broke up with Lily right on the night that they were supposed to announce their engagement. We had all really worried about Lily's well being. She didn't want to go out or see anyone in weeks. So when my mom picked up, I asked about my heartbroken little sister. Mom, how's Lily handling everything? She's devastated. I can't believe Owen left her alone at her own engagement dinner and then broke up with her over text. It's horrible. Yeah, it is. But Mom, I actually have some news to share with you. What is it? Well, Ethan and I actually got engaged. I'm really happy, Mom. I'm just not sure how to go on about this news with Lily. Really? Have you both thought this through? Does he have a stable job? She seemed taken aback with she disappointed me a little. I thought she would be thrilled for me, the same way she was thrilled for Lily to marry Owen. I assured her that Ethan and I loved each other deeply and supported each other fully. I even mentioned Ethan's work in tech, but I didn't delve into the details. My mom seemed somewhat reassured, but her curiosity was piqued. What does he do exactly? Oh, he's in tech, like a virtual wallet app or something. Does he make enough money? Oh, he's doing well, Mom. I'm happy with him regardless of his income. I replied to all her questions while trying to be vague. My mom listened carefully but seemed skeptical. Nevertheless, she didn't push the issue further and we moved on to discuss other things. As the family dinner day arrived, I felt a mixture of excitement and dread. I decided to pay Lily a visit to cheer her up before heading to dinner. It was during this visit that Lily found out about my engagement to Ethan. She congratulated me, and I was relieved that she seemed happy for me. However, she kept asking questions about the proposal and the weekend trip. She would go into all the details, like who paid for what or what kind of ring he bought, etc. It started to make me uncomfortable. Her mood shifted as soon as she found out that I was the one who paid for that weekend trip. Wait, you paid for the trip? Why didn't he pay for it? It's not a big deal, Lily. It was right before his birthday. Sometimes he covers expenses, sometimes I do. We take turns. I chuckled, trying to downplay the situation. Lily didn't seem convinced, and she pressed further, asking about Ethan's financial situation. I realized then that my family's obsession with money was not something I could avoid forever, but still, I managed to change the subject once again, turning the attention back to Lily and her recent breakup with Owen. But back to you. How are you holding up after everything with Owen? Oh, it's been tough. Owen was such a catch, He used to shower me with gifts, take me on these fancy, expensive getaways, and everything was just so glamorous. Well, that sounds nice, but material stuff isn't everything, right? Oh, come on, Alex. You've never been one to appreciate the finer things in life, but trust me, those gifts made me feel special, like a princess. I'm glad you felt that way, Lily, but sometimes relationships are about more than just material possessions. Oh, please, spare me the lecture, Alex. Owen was great at the beginning, and I just can't believe he left me like that. It's such a pity he couldn't see what he was losing. Well, maybe it's for the best, Lily. If he didn't appreciate you, then he wasn't the right person for you. Owen and I had a connection, and he always knew how to make me happy with those gifts. I deserved all of that, and he should have kept providing. I'm not saying you didn't deserve nice things, Lily. It's just that relationships are about mutual love and supports. So, gifts are lovely, but they shouldn't be the foundation of a relationship. You and your idealistic views. Well, let me tell you, Owen knew how to treat me right, and that's what I want in my next relationship. I understand, Lily. I just hope you find someone who genuinely loves and cherishes you. Thanks, Alex. I know you're trying to be supportive, but trust me, once you experience what I had with Owen, you will see why it's hard to let go. I'm sure it was special in its own way. Well, of course it was, sis. It was the most magical. Things got so much worse when Ethan finally arrived at the family dinner. My mom and Lily seemed to be interrogating Ethan about his financial status. I cringed as they asked him subtle questions about how much he made and how much he spent on the ring. As the night progressed, the tension grew, and I could tell Ethan was feeling uncomfortable. My mom even made a snide remark about how I should consider someone else for marriage if Ethan was struggling. At least that was what she assumed when he refused to reveal more details to her. I couldn't stand seeing Ethan treated this way, and I couldn't bear my family's obsession with money. Enough was enough. Mom, Lily, this needs to stop. Ethan is an amazing man, and I won't tolerate you judging him based on his income. I won't let you or anyone else dictate who I should marry. I'm getting married to Ethan, and it's not about money. The tension in the room was palpable, but I didn't back down. My mom and Lily were taken aback by my outburst. They calmed me down, but they didn't talk much after that. They acted like they were the ones who got hurt. At the end of the dinner, my mom didn't even say goodbye to Ethan. She pulled me aside and spoke loudly as if for Ethan to hear from the other side of the door. Honey, that man couldn't afford a trip, let alone a wedding. I'm telling you right now that if you don't have a nice ceremony, I'm not coming. Mom, I know what you think, and it's fine. You can keep thinking that way, but I know what's best for this family. I can't believe you're telling me this after everything I've said. I love him, Mom. I'm not taking it back, Alexandra. Have the wedding you want alone. Your sister and I are not coming. Fine, if that's what matters to you. After dinner, I was crying the whole ride home. I had always known that my mom and Lily were materialistic, but I now realize that they would miss out on the most important day of my life just to prove a stupid point. The days after that, Lily sent me messages saying how rude I was at the dinner and how I should apologize to Mom for hurting her feelings. I told her that I was busy planning my wedding and that they were still invited if they wanted to come. Then Lily just never responded, and so Ethan and I continued with our wedding plans regardless of my family's disapproval. Ethan wanted it to be big, and I wanted him to have the wedding of his dream. We decided to have a lavish ceremony inviting our close friends and some of the nation's wealthiest tech CEOs and businessmen, who Ethan had become friends with over the years. As expected, in just a few weeks, our wedding made headlines with magazines featuring it. It was flattering, of course, and I was enjoying the whole process. The day finally came and there were no signs of Lily or my mom. I was sad, but I brushed it off. If they didn't want to be there for me, there's nothing I could do. I would be choosing my own family from then on, and I chose Ethan. As we exchanged our vows, I looked into Ethan's eyes and all my doubts and worries disappeared. I knew that marrying him was the best decision I had ever made, and I felt grateful that I hadn't let my family's money obsession ruin our happiness. When we were done with the ceremony, we moved to the reception party. It was so much fun and so colorful too. That was when I bumped into a surprise, Owen. Owen was invited to my reception party as one of Ethan's friends. I guess I somehow missed his name on the guests list, but I was shocked to find him there. Fortunately, he was really happy for me despite what happened with Lily. He approached me with the warmest smile.
Alex, congratulations on your wedding!
Thank you, Owen.
I must admit, it's a small world. Ethan and I were childhood friends, and I had no idea the woman he was marrying was you.
Really? That's quite a coincidence. Well, I'm glad you're here.
I wouldn't have missed it for anything. I'm very happy for you.
Owen, can I ask you something about Lily?
Of course, Alex.
Back at the engagement dinner when you left Lily, she was devastated. We never saw it coming. I mean, I thought you two were happy.
Yeah, that night was tough. I didn't want to leave her, but I felt hurt. Things were piling up.
Hurt? What happened?
Well, that night I had booked the same restaurant where we first met, thinking it would be special, but she didn't even realize that. She was disappointed and started throwing a tantrum at me, saying I should have booked somewhere fancier.
Oh, Owen, I had no idea. Lily didn't recognize the restaurant.
No, she didn't. She was so focused on the material stuff, and it hurt that she didn't appreciate the sentiment behind it, and that was just the last straw for me. She had been like that for years.
I'm so sorry you went through that. Lily can be, well, you know her.
Yeah, I do. We had our good times, but in the end, we weren't on the same page.
I understand.
Well, didn't want to bring the mood down. You and Ethan seem truly happy together. He's a lucky guy.
And I'm lucky to have him, but you know what, Owen? I hope you find someone who appreciates you for who you are, not just the fancy gestures.
Thanks, Alex. That means a lot.
Everything was going well until at the corner of my eyes I saw my mom and Lily walk into the venue. They were dressed in formal attires but all sweaty with their mascara dripping down their cheeks. I was utterly in shock. Mom? Lily? What are you doing here? We wouldn't miss our own daughter's wedding, could we? Yeah, we just had to be here. But you both look like you have been through a lot. What happened? Well, we saw the news about this fancy wedding and found out about Ethan's family, so we decided to come as soon as we could. You drove 5 hours straight to get here? You didn't even tell me you were coming. Alex, I'm so sorry about everything. Can you ever forgive me? Wait, so you're only here because you know Ethan's wealthy now? I was getting pissed and everyone was turning towards us. To make matters worse, that was when Lily realized that Owen stood right next to me. She was baffled, and I explained to her that Owen was actually friends with Ethan since childhood and was invited to the reception as a groom's guest. Lily seemed to have seen her chance. Alan, I can't believe you're here. Listen, I'm messed up. Can you talk to me?
Oh, no, Lily, this is your sister's wedding day. You need to get it together.
Lily, let's respect his wishes and deal with this later. No, Mom, you don't understand. Owen means everything to me. Lily, that doesn't excuse what you did. I can't believe you would cause such a scene at my wedding. Well, maybe if I was the one marrying into some rich family, I wouldn't feel so desperate. As I was stunned, Lily barged into Owen, grabbing his vest and trying to make him listen. The poor guy was shocked. He immediately called security and brought both Mom and Lily outside. I decided to let him deal with them, realizing he was more of a friend to me than Lily would ever be. As my mom and Lily were escorted away, my heart was heavy with a mix of emotions. I was hurt by their behavior, but I also knew that I had to stay focused on the love and joy on my wedding day. Ethan ran outside to comfort me just in time, offering his unwavering support and love. We danced the night away, celebrating our love and the journey we were embarking on together. After that, Owen sued Lily for harassment. As it turned out, she had been verbally abusing him multiple times during their toxic relationship. Plus, the commodity at the wedding really showed how physically violent Lily could get when things didn't go her way. In the end, she had to pay him a huge amount to settle, and both my mom and Lily were broke because of that. Owen soon moved on as he had his whole life ahead and found an intelligent, beautiful woman to date. As for me, I decided to cut contact with my mom and Lily and enjoy my happily ever after with Ethan. Finally, my life felt like a dream come true. I never imagined my life would take such a drastic turn. From blissful happiness to heart-wrenching deceit. My name is Tina, and my life revolved around my husband Sam and his sister Kathy. We were like an inseparable trio, and I considered Kathy my best friend. I am so fortunate to be in a relationship with my husband and to have a long-lasting bond with his sister. She is my best friend. From the moment that my husband introduced me to his family way back when we were still dating, Kathy and I instantly clicked.
It's like we were long lost sisters. We had the same humor, style, favorite foods, music taste, passion, and career path. We were like soul sisters, and we knew that we were meant to cross paths. Sam would sometimes joke about us being the real soulmates, and we would agree to that statement. I loved being around her, especially in terms of food hangouts and travels. Because of our friendship, I instantly became comfortable and felt welcomed by their family. Aside from having a fun and exciting sister, Sam also has two loving parents that do love and appreciate me. They accepted me wholeheartedly and they even treated me as their own back when we were still dating. It feels surreal to be loved by a family that makes you feel safe and accepted. I am often included in their trips, family gatherings, adventures, and even some of the lowest moments of their lives. I grew to love them, and over time, I'm slowly becoming part of their family. And it became official when Sam finally took out the ring, knelt before me, said the words, and I screamed the biggest yes of my life. This man is the love of my life, and I could never imagine navigating this world without him and his family by my side. The first few years of marriage were amazing. We decided not to have children yet because we wanted to focus on ourselves first. We traveled, worked on our careers, managed side hustles, invested, grew our income, and made lots and lots of memories together. But lately, my husband has grown cold towards me. Some said it is normal for relationships who just got past the honeymoon stage, maybe because of boredom and monotony, but I'm very certain that this is only just a mild rift in our relationship and we can clearly and strongly overcome this phase. And I'm very much certain because Kathy is with me. She keeps on reminding and advising me that everything will be alright and my husband will soon bring back his loving treatment towards me. I had an idea in mind that I think will solve Sam and my conflict. I told him that I wanted us to have a child already because we had enough time for ourselves through our various travels and other leisure times. We are also financially capable already and there is no need to worry. And I was so shocked by his reaction because he was so angry that he almost hit me.
Baby, I'm not yet ready. We planned this already. We need 3 years to think about it. Are you dumb?
I'm completely taken aback by his sudden rise of voice, but I tried to calm him out by talking to him softly. I went close to him and placed my hands on his shoulders. Babe, I'm so sorry. I just feel like our relationship is drifting apart and I just wanted us to be closer again. And I think having a baby will help us. He shrugged off my hands and looked at me angrily.
Are you high or something? Because which part of we need 3 years to think about it that you don't understand? I told you I don't want a baby yet. Just get the fuck out of here. I need peace. You are so irritating clinging around me.
I feel my heart beating so fast because I was too nervous by his reaction. I walked out and called Kathy immediately. I told her that Sam and I had a big fight, and she was so comforting by telling me that Sam is just stressed and that my feelings are valid and that both of us will rise above this challenge. And I agreed with her. Our bond was rough as days went by, but I still stood by my husband's side because he would still show me his affection from time to time until the fateful day when everything changed. One evening, Sam discovered a secret I had kept hidden, my $1 million savings. I mean, it was not a secret because the money was intended for our children, but I saw him navigating through my files and documents while scrolling through my computer. Oh, babe, you scared me. What are you doing going through my things? I could sense the coldness in him as he remained focused on the screen, but then he faced me.
I didn't mean to startle you, Tina. I was just looking for some paperwork and I stumbled upon this folder here on the computer. It had your name on it, so I thought it might be important.
I looked at the screen and it was my personal bank statements. It's just some personal savings. I have been putting aside some money for a rainy day.
How much money are we talking about here? Why didn't you tell me about it?
His voice was firm and sounded angry. It's not a huge amount, just a few $1,000s. I didn't think it was a big deal and I wanted to surprise you someday.
Oh, surprise, huh? Well, you've surprised me. Why did you keep it a secret?
I didn't want you to feel like I was hiding anything. It's just with everything going on, I thought it would be nice to have a little extra security.
Security? Tina, are you trying to save up for something specific? Is there something you're not telling me?
I've been thinking about our future, Sam. I want us to have a better life, and having some savings gives me peace of mind. And specifically speaking, it's for our baby. And for now, I want to save up some more.
Tina, you know I want the best for both of us, but we're a team and we should be making financial decisions together. You don't have to carry this burden alone.
I know, Sam, but with everything that has happened, I just felt like I needed to have some control over our situation. I was so amazed by how Sam handled the situation. It feels like the same way he used to manage our conflicts in the early stages of our relationship.
You know what's a better way to spend that money?
I looked at him in confusion. My love, I told you it's for the baby, and we have to save up some more to give them a better few.
Can you shut the fuck up for a moment?
I flinched at his sudden change of tone. He went mad again. He looked at me with irritation.
Do you think I'm fine with what you did? No, I'm just trying to look fine.
I could feel my nervousness etching throughout my entire body. I don't understand.
Now that you completely hide from me the existence of your savings, I will have full control of it now.
I was so shocked by what he said.
Listen to me and do as I say. You will give the entire $1 million savings to my sister Kathy.
I was confused even more. Why? He banged the table and I flinched again.
I thought you were her friend. I thought you were family. How can you not know that she is sick and has cancer?
My jaw dropped as I heard what he said. Are you serious?
Do I look like lying to you?
But Kathy would tell me immediately about the kind of thing, but she never mentioned something like that at all. My heart sank when he disclosed his intention for the money. He claimed Kathy was suffering from cancer and needed financial help for her treatment.
It's not important. What's important now is that you will transfer that money to my bank account and I will pay for her medication. Am I clear?
I am so skeptical of the way he demanded. It seems like he is in a hurry or something. I can just send it to her account directly.
No!
He stood up out of frustration.
Give me the money now or I will file a divorce.
I could feel my body shaking as he threw that threat at me. I nodded in response and transferred the money to his account. After he received it, he quickly went out of our room and drove the car away. I was left there clueless and confused. Of course, I had my doubts. Kathy had confided in me about her health, and she never mentioned anything about cancer. Conflicted and wanting to believe Sam, I approached her cautiously only to be met with her honesty. She was not battling cancer and she was appalled that Sam would use such a lie to manipulate me. Sam, however, was relentless. He threatened me with divorce using emotional blackmail to force me into transferring the entire sum to his account. My world crumbled. Torn between loyalty to my friend and the fear of losing my husband. In my desperation to salvage my marriage, I complied with his demand. And that's what happened. I gave him the money and he left me alone. Before the betrayal came to light, there were subtle signs that something was amiss in my marriage. Aside from being cold and unable to control his anger issues, Sam had been growing distant, spending more time away from home under the guise of work related commitments. Initially, I chalked it up to the stress of his job, just like what Kathy said, but little did I know that he was slowly slipping away from me. Unbeknownst to me, Sam had rekindled a connection with an old childhood friend, Lisa, whom he had lost touch with for years. They had started communicating secretly, and their conversations gradually escalated from innocent catch ups to flirtatious exchanges. Sam, feeling neglected in our relationship due to my trust and focus on Kathy, sought comfort and validation from Lisa. Their affair had been going on for months before Kathy discovered their betrayal. I was so blessed to have Kathy in my life because she told me everything that she knew. She had seen them together on multiple occasions, capturing enough evidence to shatter my world into pieces. She wrestled with the decision to tell me, hoping that she could protect me from the pain. But in the end, she couldn't bear witnessing my life crumble any further, and Kathy told me that she gathered evidence. She showed me a photo of them kissing, holding hands, and there was even a voice recording she took during one of their family gatherings when Sam was talking to her on the phone at the restroom. She was quick to record it and keep it as evidence. As I discovered the truth, my world collapsed around me. The love and trust I had placed in my husband were shattered, replaced with a mix of anger and heartache. I felt humiliated, not only because of his affair, but also because he had manipulated me into giving away my savings under pretenses. It was then that I knew my revenge needed to be more than just reclaiming my money and cutting them off from my life. I wanted to make them taste the bitterness of their betrayal, to expose their hypocrisy and deceit for the world to see. With Kathy's help, I devised a plan that would not only expose their affair but also leave them both humiliated and regretful of their actions. We decided to stage a gathering inviting all of our mutual friends and family, including Lisa, under the pretext of a reconciliation party. Little did they know that this was our stage for justice. As the night unfolded, Sam and Lisa seemed oblivious to the impending storm. Kathy and I bided our time, waiting for the opportune moment. When the atmosphere was right, we revealed everything. I stood tall, my voice unwavering as I recounted the lies and emotional manipulation I endured at the hands of my cheating husband. I played the recording of their deceitful conversations, exposing every detail of their affair for everyone to hear. Shocked gasps filled the room as their secret world crumbled before them. Sam's face flushed with shame, and Lisa's tears only deepened the humiliation. In that moment, I reclaimed my power and self-respect, while Sam and Lisa cowered in embarrassment. They had never expected me to take such a bold stance, and their remorse was evident in their faces. But my revenge didn't end there. I had one last surprise in store for them. I presented undeniable evidence of their affair to their workplaces, leaving them both with a tarnished reputation they could never escape. The consequences of their actions were no longer confined to our personal lives. They now had to face the repercussions in their professional spheres as well. As the night came to an end, I saw the once confident Sam and Lisa reduced to shadows of their former selves. The people they had once deceived now looked at them with disgust and disappointment. They had lost not only their lovers, but also the respect of those around them.
Babe, please, I'm so sorry. I was also a victim.
A victim? You hurt me. You changed. You are not the Sam that I used to know. You're not my husband. He knelt and pleaded for his life.
Please, forgive me. I just wanted a little more thrill, and Lisa gave me that. But you're the one I love. Forgive me.
You're an asshole. You deserve this humiliation, both of you. I will never regret exposing all your lies and manipulations. Walking away from that gathering, I felt a mix of emotions. The pain of betrayal still lingered, but it was mingled with a sense of triumph and vindication. I had turned the tables on them, transforming my humiliation into a powerful statement of strength. From that day on, I focused on healing and rebuilding my life. The revenge I sought was not one of cruelty or violence, but a testament to the strength of the human spirit. I learned that in the face of adversity, one can rise above the pain and emerge stronger than ever before. And as for Sam and Lisa, they were left to grapple with the consequences of their actions, forever haunted by the memory of the night they were exposed for the deceitful individuals they truly were. In the aftermath of that tumultuous night, life took on a different hue for me. The pain of the betrayal lingered, but with each passing day, I found myself growing stronger and more resilient. The support of my true friends and family proved invaluable, helping me navigate the emotional roller coaster of healing. As I severed all ties with Sam and Lisa, I focused on reclaiming my life and rediscovering my worth. I sought professional counseling to process the trauma of the betrayal and to build my self esteem. Slowly but surely, I began to see that I was not defined by the actions of others. My value as a person went far beyond the betrayal I had experienced. As the divorce proceedings progressed, I ensured that I protected myself and my assets. My attorney worked diligently to ensure that I received my fair share of marital property, including the hard earned money that Sam had tried to exploit. With the divorce finalized and my finances secured, I took a bold step to start fresh in a new city. It was an opportunity for a fresh beginning away from the painful reminders of the past. I embraced the change, seeking new experiences and friendships that would help me grow. Over time, the wound left by the betrayal began to heal, but I never forgot the lessons it taught me. I became more discerning in my relationships, guarding my heart with greater caution. Trust had to be earned, and I refused to settle for anything less than genuine love and respect. During this period of self discovery, I found solace in pursuing my passions. I threw myself into my career, excelling in my profession and achieving personal milestones that filled me with pride. I also explored hobbies that had taken a back seat during my marriage, rediscovering the joy of painting and traveling. As the months turned into years, I received occasional updates about Sam and Lisa from mutual acquaintances. Their lives had taken a downturn both personally and professionally as the consequences of their actions continued to haunt them. It was a stark reminder that the choices we make can have lasting repercussions, shaping the trajectory of our lives. But I didn't derive satisfaction from their misfortunes. Instead, their plight reinforced my belief in the importance of empathy and forgiveness. I had found closure within myself, and harboring ill will towards them would only serve as a shackle to my happiness. Though I had experienced heartbreak and humiliation, I refused to let it define me. Instead, I embraced my newfound independence and the strength I had discovered within. The healing journey was not without its challenges, but it transformed me into a resilient, compassionate, and empowered individual. And when I finally encountered love again, it was different. I was cautious, yes, but also open to the possibility of a healthy, loving relationship. I allowed myself to be vulnerable, knowing that true love required trust and communication. As time passed, I realized that the betrayal had been a catalyst for profound personal growth. It pushed me to confront my fears, embrace my worth, and forge ahead with unwavering determination. Strangely, I was grateful for the pain, for it led me to discover my inner strength and resilience. Looking back now, I see the journey as a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Life will inevitably throw curveballs our way, but it is how we respond to those challenges that define us. The revenge I sought out was not in causing harm to others, but in reclaiming my life and refusing to be a victim of circumstance. I share my story with others who may have faced betrayal, hoping to inspire them to find their path to healing and empowerment. Life is a journey filled with ups and downs, but in the end, we have the power to rise above the ashes and emerge stronger than ever before. I am Emily, and I have been married to my husband Jake for 40 years. In our 60s, Jake and I are still as happily married as ever. We have been through so much together, and every challenge we faced only strengthened our bond. Our love has weathered the test of time, and it's a beautiful feeling to wake up every day knowing that we have each other by our side. I must say, we were quite the ideal couple. We had a lot of success with our family business, and our children all grew up to be beautiful, intelligent, and kind hearted people. One of our sons took over the business a few years ago, so now all Jake and I do was relax. We went on countless adventures, exploring new places and experiencing new things. We love hiking on the mountains with each other. In our 60s, we have also learned to embrace change and adapt to the evolving world around us. Technology has advanced, and we learn to navigate smartphones and social media together, laughing at our fumbles and celebrating our victories. Still, I have to admit that we still appear very clumsy from time to time. That day, we wanted to celebrate Jake's birthday in the mountains. We had already had a fancy dinner with our children and grandchildren, so we just wanted to spend time alone with each other. Unfortunately, we were really bad with the navigation app on our phones. We weren't sure how to use them, so it took us a lot of time to find our way. By the time we managed to get back on track, we were both tired. So Jake and I decided to be spontaneous and stop by the closest restaurant instead of heading straight to the hotel that I had booked. The nice thing about that region was that it was touristy in the best ways. There weren't a lot of places, but all of them were really nicely built. After all, it's a region where many wealthier people go on hikes and enjoy the secluded atmosphere. The restaurant that we saw was located quite high up, and you could see a picturesque lake from the restaurant. It was perfect, and we loved the idea of having our birthday dinner there. However, things didn't go as smoothly as we hoped. When we arrived dressed casually in t-shirts, jeans, and sneakers, the hostess completely ignored us. The staff were exchanging looks and whispered about us, making us feel self-conscious about our attire. But to be honest, what did these people expect hikers to wear? I looked around and saw that everyone else in the restaurant was in fancy clothes. They probably came with a cab service. There was such an option for us too, but Jake and I had decided to walk and enjoy nature. I thought about leaving, but at that point, both Jake and I were quite tired from the hike. I didn't want to risk it considering the fact that we were not as young and strong as we used to be. Jake seemed to immediately read my mind.
Don't worry, let's just ask for a table. We deserve to be here as much as anyone else.
Despite the uncomfortable atmosphere, Jake confidently led me to the hostess desk to inquire about a table for two. But the hostess was downright rude and snobbish. She made it clear that this luxurious place was not for us. "Can I help you?"
Could we have a table for two, please?
This is a high-end establishment, and I'm afraid we can't accommodate you here.
Excuse me? We're just looking for a table for two. Is that too much to ask for?
I'm afraid it is. This restaurant caters to a certain clientele, and you two don't exactly fit the bill.
That's not fair. We deserve to be treated with respect, just like any other guest.
Look, this isn't a charity event. We don't need people like you ruining the ambience for our other guests. You should leave before you cause any further disturbance.
Jake, maybe we should just go. I don't want to be somewhere we're not wanted.
No, Emily, we have every right to be here.
Right. Like you can afford anything in this place. You're wasting your time here. The sooner you leave, the better.
Jake, it's okay. Let's not ruin our night over this.
No, I won't let them get away with this. It's not just about us, it's about standing up against discrimination.
Oh, please. Spare me the lecture. You poor lonely old people should just stop wasting my time.
That was when we both backed off. I could see the hurt in Jake's eyes, but I also saw the determination and strength in him. He was not one to back down from a fight, especially when it involved standing up for what he believed in. I admired him for that. Suddenly, there was a spark in his eyes as if he had come up with something. He had seen where the kitchen was and walked straight in there to talk to the manager. I couldn't help but feel a mix of worry and excitement. I followed closely behind, knowing that when Jake got an idea, there was no stopping him. The hostess tried to call for us, but she was drawing attention to herself in a quiet, fine dining atmosphere, so she stopped. In the corner of my eyes, I could see her roll her eyes and shake her head as if she was disgusted with us. We found the manager, a stern-looking man in a crisp suit, barking orders at the kitchen staff.
Excuse me, sir, I need to talk to you about the way your hostess treated us at the front desk.
The manager barely spared us a glance, his face contorted in annoyance.
And who are you? I'm a paying customer, just like everyone else in the establishment, yet your hostess treated us like we were beneath us. We deserve to be treated with respect, regardless of our appearance or social status.
The manager scoffed, dismissing Jake's words with a wave of his hand.
Look, we have a certain image to maintain here. We can't have just anyone walking in and ruining the atmosphere for our esteemed guests. But that's exactly the problem. Your esteemed guests shouldn't be judged based on their appearance, and neither should we. We all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect.
At that moment, the hostess appeared from behind, a smug grin on her face.
Oh, it's you again. Didn't I tell you to leave? We don't need your kind here.
Your kind, my kind, we're all human beings, and we all deserve to be treated fairly.
The manager's expression darkened, and before we knew it, he was raising his voice.
Enough of this nonsense. Get out of my kitchen and out of my restaurant. No, I won't leave until I see a change in your attitude and the way you treat your guests. You may think you're above us, but you're not above common decency.
Suddenly, the manager's anger boiled over, and he lunged towards Jake, grabbing him by the collar of his shirt.
I have had enough of your insolence. Get out, or I'll have you thrown out.
I rushed to Jake's side, trying to pull the manager away, but his grip was too strong. I could see the fire in Jake's eyes, a mix of anger and determination. The kitchen staff looked on, unsure of what to do. The tension in the room was palpable, and I feared the situation might escalate even further. The manager pulled Jake out of the kitchen and only stopped when he realized everyone else was looking. He gave Jake and me a disgusted look and then turned back inside. I quickly turned to check if Jake was okay, and luckily he was fine. Still, we were in shock. We couldn't believe that something like that just happened. The scene could have got violent if it was not for the guests dining outside. Jake and I slowly left the restaurant feeling really violated. Just when we thought things were only getting worse and worse, we were approached by someone. A kind voice called out to us from behind. Hey, wait up! Turning around, we saw a young woman running towards us with a warm smile. I couldn't help but overhear what happened in there. I'm so sorry you had to go through that.
Young lady, thank you.
My name is Vera, and I'm a frequent guest at the hotel. I'm honestly appalled by the manager's behavior. He has always been so nice to me and my family. Well, I guess they are selective about when and who to be kind to. I can't believe he treated you like that. You deserve better, and you shouldn't be discouraged from enjoying this beautiful city just because of one rude person.
Thank you for that, dear.
I actually live nearby. If you need a ride to your hotel or anywhere else, I would be more than happy to help. Her offer warmed our hearts and we gladly accepted. As we rode in Vera's car, her kind-hearted nature really won us over. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what was going on sooner to intervene back there, but if you ever want to file a complaint or share your story, here's the contact information of the restaurant owner. She handed us a small card with the owner's name and contact details. Vera's kindness and empathy reaffirmed our belief that there were good people in the world, people who were willing to stand up for what was right. As we arrived at our hotel, we exchanged contact information with Vera, promising to keep in touch. She had become not just a kind stranger, but a friend, a reminder that acts of kindness could have a profound impact on someone's life. Despite the unpleasant incident at the restaurant on Jake's birthday, we were determined not to let it ruin our special night. As we returned to our hotel room, we put on some music, and Jake, always the goofy one, started dancing around the room, trying to lift our spirits. I couldn't help but laugh at his antics, feeling grateful for his ability to find lightness even in challenging moments. As the night progressed, we snuggled up on the balcony, gazing at the stars above. The night might not have turned out as we initially envisioned, but in many ways it had become even more meaningful. It reminded us of the strength of our love and the importance of standing up for what we believed in. Over the next few days, we took some time to process the events of that night. We decided to reach out to the restaurant owner, but as we went back to the contact details of the owner, we realized we had always known this man personally. Vera's handwriting read Mr. Shelley, but when we typed down his number on our phones, a familiar name popped up in the contact list: Mario Shelley, one of our friends from college. And so we gave Mario a call. It was really nice catching up with an old friend, so much so that we almost forgot to mention the incident a few nights before. Just when we were about to bring it up, Mario revealed to us that he was looking to sell the restaurant so that he could move overseas with the rest of his family. Jake and I looked at each other. We had always talked about owning a hotel or restaurant in the mountains just so we had a place to call our second home every time we felt like hiking. Still, the perfect opportunity never came. We expressed our interest, and Mario was overjoyed to hear that we might consider buying it. Of course, we needed a lot of time to think. It seemed like fate had presented us with the perfect opportunity to fulfill our dream of owning a place in the mountains. But we also knew it was a huge responsibility and a significant life change. As we weighed the pros and cons, we decided to discuss the idea with our youngest son, Chris. He had just finished his master's degree at the time, and he had always had an eye for creating delightful dishes. We knew he had the potential to take the restaurant to new heights. The more we talked about it, the more excited we became. The idea of spending our retirement years in the mountains and running a restaurant together as a family felt like a beautiful way to start a new chapter in our lives. Finally, we made up our minds. We called Mario and told him we were interested in taking over the restaurant. He was thrilled and assured us that he would be there to guide us through the transition and share all the tricks of the trade. The day had finally come for the official handover of the restaurant. Mario had graciously offered to accompany Jake and me to the establishment, and we were filled with a mix of excitement and anticipation. As we entered the restaurant, memories of that unfortunate night flashed in my mind, but I pushed them aside, focusing on the new beginning that lay ahead. To our surprise, the atmosphere felt different right from the start. The manager, who had been so rude and dismissive before, greeted us with a smile. He shook our hands warmly, expressing his excitement about the transition.
I'm thrilled that the restaurant would be in such capable hands. I have heard wonderful things about your plans, and I'm confident it will continue to thrive under your ownership.
Jake looked at him for a moment, absorbing the change in demeanor.
Thank you, but I must be honest, I have some reservations about your future in this restaurant. Oh, I assure you, I'm fully committed to supporting the new owners and ensuring a smooth transition. I'm sorry, but your behavior towards us and the other guests was unacceptable. We believe in creating an inclusive and respectful environment for everyone who walks through these doors. I'm sorry if our staff might come across that way, but I assure you I have always been very polite to prestigious guests like you.
Are you sure? Absolutely, but our staff could be quite stressed on some nights. You know how a busy restaurant might get. Do you remember us at all? Excuse me, I'm not sure I. We were the hiker couple you treated so rudely, your behavior was hurtful and discriminatory, and it's not the kind of attitude we want in this restaurant. The manager's face paled and he looked stunned. He stammered, clearly realizing the gravity of his actions. I'm truly sorry for how I treated you. It was completely unacceptable and I deeply regret my behavior. We all kept quiet to such an insincere apology. The manager seemed to sink into himself, realizing the consequences of his actions. Then he looked to Mario, as if to ask for help. Mario just gave him a disappointing look. Slowly, the manager walked out of the restaurant, mumbling words I couldn't quite make clear. The next few days brought significant changes to the restaurant. With a renewed focus on creating a welcoming atmosphere, we found new staff members who shared our values and were committed to providing the best experience for our guests. And just as Jake had done, the hostess who had treated us poorly was also let go. We wanted to ensure that every person who worked in the restaurant understood the importance of treating others with kindness. With a fresh start, the restaurant thrived under our ownership. Over time, we became known not just for our delicious food, but for the warm and inviting atmosphere we created. The restaurant became a gathering place for locals and tourists alike, a place where everyone felt welcome and valued. Chris became the head chef, and his culinary creations brought a fresh and innovative twist to the restaurant's menu. Our guests raved about his dishes, and his passion for cooking shone through in every bite. One sunny afternoon, as the restaurant bustled with guests, a familiar face caught Chris's eye. It was Vera, the kind stranger who had stood up for us on that unforgettable night months ago. Her warm smile and radiant presence lit up the room, and Chris couldn't help but feel drawn to her. They got to know each other and got along incredibly well. As days turned into weeks, Chris and Vera's connection deepened. They spent hours together exploring the mountains, sharing stories, and supporting each other's dreams. Their love blossomed like wildflowers in spring, pure, vibrant, and full of life. Their love story became an integral part of the restaurant, filling it with even more joy and love. In the end, I realized that even in the worst moments, there are always glimmers of hope. If we choose kindness and determination, good things will always happen to us.
I'll be back before you know it, honey.
I'm going to miss you like crazy.
I know. Call me if you need anything, okay? Especially if my mom gives you a hard time.
I don't want to bug you while you are quite literally saving the world.
I love you. That's all that matters.
I love you too. My name is Laura, 29 years old, and my husband, Oliver, 28, was going back into the military. We were hopelessly in love and just got married last spring. I was planning on living on base while he was away, but his mother, Whitney, 62, was having a rough time living alone since her husband's passing off last year. Oliver was hoping she would live on base with me. She was unwilling to move from that house since it has been passed down for generations. I don't blame her, but the problem is her nasty attitude. She never liked me, and to this day, I don't know exactly why. Oliver says that I shouldn't sweat it because she's never liked his past girlfriends either. No one would be good enough for him in her eyes. And to say that she was shocked that we got married after 6 months of dating would be an understatement. She almost didn't come to our wedding. Whitney had to be dragged out of the car forcibly by her two sisters, and she was screaming her head off the whole time. She was very dramatic. After that incident, I avoided her at all costs. If Oliver wanted to visit her, he would go alone. The last time I joined in on a visit, she implied that it looked like I had gained weight before the wedding and that I would probably stay fat after having a child. But now I could no longer stay away at arm's length. The first week of living in the house wasn't too bad. We kept out of each other's way for the most part. I did, however, try to have breakfast or dinner with her to keep her company as per my husband's request. Anytime after that, I would hang out with friends or be at work. Our conversations were non existent. But she did compliment my cooking, so I thought that was a good thing. Things immediately went downhill the following week after. I planned on making breakfast for us, but no eggs and bacon were in sight. I checked the freezer, and again, there was nothing. I decided to do a quick grocery store run. So I went through the pantry and the refrigerator to see what we needed. I then went to the store and bought everything. I didn't mind doing this, but Whitney did. I came home with 6 bags full of groceries.
What's with those bags?
Oh, I noticed we were running low on some groceries, so I bought some.
Which market did you go to?
The one down the street?
You would. I don't shop there.
Well, why not? It's only a mile away.
I am not too fond of their selections. You probably got all the cheap stuff. This one, do. You should return the food and go to Mary's Market.
That's a 30-minute drive. Was she being serious?
I know.
Whitney, the grocery spot isn't so bad. Do you want any breakfast?
I'm not eating anything you're making.
She crossed her arms in a petty attempt at pouting. You're being a bit ridiculous.
This could have been all avoided had you just asked me where I went to get my groceries. I'm telling you right now, I'm not eating that crap.
Suit yourself. I thought she was joking, so I made her a plate and wrapped it in the fridge. I did the same thing for dinner. The entire week, she went on a hunger strike and only drank water. All the groceries I bought eventually went bad after the second week. I don't know how she could function without food, but I just assumed she would eat while I wasn't home or go out to get meals. The following week, the groceries were running low. This time, I waited for her to get some groceries since she was so adamant about going to Mary's Market. There was no way in hell I was driving half an hour. But again, she did not eat for another 4 days. It was then I realized she was teaching me a lesson. She was a stubborn old woman and I was learning the hard way. I'm going to Mary's Market. Would you like to make a list of things I should buy?
Wow, how thoughtful, she said sarcastically.
The groceries at Mary's were not different from the other place. I didn't understand why she was so challenging. Even though we had groceries in the house, she never offered to cook, which meant I did it all. The grocery incident wasn't our only issue. There is only one bathroom in the house, and I do my business and always clean up after myself. This woman did not know the definition of clean. She left her hair down the drain. Toothpaste would be all in the sink, wasting away, and the worst part was, I always found pee on the toilet seat as if she was always about to piss her pants before relieving herself. Every other day, I would clean the bathroom. I never got a thank you or an appraisal for it. These were all small things that I had issues with her. But the worst offense was her constant asking of where I was going, as if I was obligated to tell her. I'm a grown woman, for crying out loud. All I ever did was hang out with friends and work, but no, I had to be a stay-at-home wife?
It's honestly kind of thrashy that you still go out like that. It's not like you're 21 years old anymore, so I don't understand the appeal or the need.
What else do you expect me to do? Mop around until my husband returns?
Yes, of course. I know your kind.
What the hell does that mean?
You know what it means.
She only said before leaving the room. My eyes turned red. I wanted to call Oliver and tell him exactly what she said, but he wasn't able to answer. That Friday, I got a call back from him. Honey, I missed you so much.
I know. I'm sorry I haven't been able to reach you. The towers were down and just a lot of things have been happening out here that I can't really talk about.
His voice was sad, something I rarely heard because he was such a strong man. I knew I couldn't share my problems with him at that moment. I didn't want to stress him out more. I had to face Whitney alone, but at what cost? How is everything at home? We're doing great. We miss you so much, though. I tried staying out of her way. The only time I had the place to myself was on Fridays, when she would pick up her heart medication. Besides that, she stayed at home. Everything boiled over when I decided to go again to the market nearby the house. It was so annoying having to shop at Mary's market, as Whitney paid no effort in going herself.
Didn't I tell you about the grocery arrangements?
I seem to be the only one who cooks around here, so I made the executive decision to make food from the groceries down the streets. And if you have an issue, then you don't have to eat.
Wow, what an original thought of yours.
How old are you? You are acting like a child.
I didn't even want you here in the first place.
It's not like I asked you to be here, but Oliver wanted me to keep you company since you don't have anyone else who gives a crap about you.
You act all innocent, as if you have all these qualities that make you a great person. Well, newsflash, you aren't. I know your true intentions. You only got together with my son for his health insurance. Why else would you rush the wedding?
That's further from the truth. Where did you get these delusions? We rushed the wedding because we are in love.
These are not delusions.
They are. I love your son, and you should know this by now.
If only he knew what kind of floozy you were, coming and going as you please, wasting away any potential of dignity. You are a married woman going out with God knows who.
That's the last straw. Do not talk to me with disrespect. I sneered. I felt myself lose control of my temper.
I could care less. As a matter of fact, get out of my house.
What?
Get the hell out of my house, or I'm going to call the police.
You are a deranged woman.
Get out!
She screamed, throwing the nearest glass on the floor. I didn't know what to do. I grabbed my keys and my wallet, but before leaving for good, I had a bad idea. Maybe rage was testing my limits, but whatever that may be, I swooped her own car keys. Before I knew what I was doing, I was pocketing them and on my way out the door, with her still screaming at the top of her lungs. I stayed at a friend, Carly's house. I didn't know what to expect, but maybe a phone call apologizing for her behavior? I got none of that. When Friday came rolling around, I surely expected a call, but nothing. She could easily pick up her phone and ask me where she might have misplaced her keys, or better yet, tell me to come home. Neither of those things happened. I tried to rationalize why she wasn't going to call. Maybe she called a taxi? Perhaps a friend took her to the pharmacist? But Whitney had no friends. How was she going to get her meds? By the second week, I began to worry, but Carly reminded me that Whitney had done this to herself. Good people get good actions. The same applies to bad people as well. Even when Oliver called, I always avoided the topic of his mother. After 3 weeks, his mother finally rang. It took her 3.5 weeks to collect her wits and call me? Well, look who decided to...
Where the hell are my keys at?
I am sick of this blatant disrespect. I can't... Is everything okay?
No, I know what you did, and since I'm without my keys, I haven't been able to go to the pharmacist.
That doesn't sound like that's my problem.
You are sadistic, you know what?
I am sadistic? Me? I'm not the one who threw their own family out on the streets with nowhere to go.
Do not categorize me as family.
I began to hear wheezing on the other side of the call. Just say 2 magic words and the keys are yours.
I'll call the police.
You would have already, so why start that now?
I am not apologizing for anything. I did nothing wrong.
Suit yourself right away. Right before I pressed the call to end, she began,
I'm sorry, please, Laura, please. I need this medicine, okay? I can't function.
Say pretty please. I didn't say I was a good person either.
Pretty please.
Wonderful. I went straight home, finding her on the steps of the house. She was ready for those keys. As soon as she left the house, I had this sudden feeling of guilt inside me, ready to burst. It was my conscience catching up with actions, and I didn't feel right. What started out as a bad decision after another could have cost my mother-in-law's life. I knew what I had to do. I called Oliver. Hi, honey. How's everything at home? I did something terrible. I blurted out. What do you mean? you're going to hate me and I won't blame you.
Whatever it is, we will get through this together. What happened? Did you cheat on me?
Of course not. No, it's not that. Me and your mother had a bit of a squabble and she kicked me out of the house.
What the hell? Are you serious?
Yes, she was saying all these horrible things, and we got into this huge fight. And while I was leaving, I took her car keys. And well, you know how your mother is. She's stubborn as all heck. It took her 3 weeks to call me, and her body reacted poorly without the medication. Oliver stayed silent. I believe I had single handedly ruined my marriage.
That's ridiculous, Laura.
I know. I felt tears stinging in my eyes.
This is, wow. I don't know what to say.
Say anything, please.
I'll have to call you back.
He never did. Instead, he went on emergency leave and came home. His mother was alright but royally pissed off with me, but somehow, in some twisted way, it made her respect me more than she did prior. Leave it in the past, Oliver. It happened. I'm fine.
How can I? This sounds insane. Both of you. You left her out on the streets with no clothes for something so stupid, and Laura took away your car keys so you got sick. This is madness.
As a result, his mother, him, and I went to family therapy to resolve some hidden anger on all 3 sides. Whitney admitted her wrongs but also said something I'll never forget in the first therapy meeting. Laura was the first girl ever to challenge me, and I'll take that to heart for the rest of my life, Oliver. Sure, she's a little crazy, but so is your mom. She's a keeper. That's the nicest thing you have ever said. Don't push it. Since then, Oliver and my relationship had bounced back to how it was before all of this had occurred. As for Whitney and I, we'll never like each other, but we do love and respect one another. And one thing is for sure, she hides her keys from me at all times. You idiots! You're all incompetent. I paid you all to do this at St. Mary's Chapel, not here.
This is St. Mary's Chapel.
What? What are you talking about?
About that.
Hello, I'm Luna. Just like any other girl, I wanted a peaceful wedding, but just like any other sister, I was a target of a sibling rivalry. It all started when we were all gathered at our family dinner, and I felt a mix of excitement and nerves as I finally decided to share the date for our wedding. It was a moment I had been eagerly waiting for. My heart raced as I prepared to make the announcement that held so much meaning for Harry and me. As we finished our meal, I stood up with a smile, my hands slightly trembling. Guess what, everyone? Harry and I have finally settled on a date for our wedding. It's this coming September 15. Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations, dear. But is there any particular reason for choosing that date? Actually, there is, and I'm glad you asked. It's a special day for us because it's the exact date when Harry and I said I love you to each other for the first time. Embarrassingly enough, my heart still flutters when I remember that moment. Oh, how adorable. Save it for your vows. Oh, Luna, that's so romantic. I'm so happy for you. Everyone around the table beamed with happiness and genuine joy. They squealed by the sweetness of the reason behind our chosen date, and I could feel their love and support. But as I scanned the faces around the table, my smile faltered when I saw my sister Leela. Her expression wasn't what I expected. There was a hint of annoyance in her eyes, and I could tell that she wasn't too thrilled. I know that look, and I already have a bad feeling of what will happen next. Leela suddenly stood up, diverting everyone's attention to her. Oh, by the way, I have an announcement too. Mark your calendars, everyone. I'm getting married on the same day as Luna. I knew it. I knew it was the same look whenever she plans to be the center of attention of a situation. I also knew she had that tendency to steal my spotlight, but I didn't really think she would do it now. My jaw dropped in shock. I saw Ivan, her fiancé, give her a surprised look as well. She tried to steal my thunder once again. I don't get it. Why couldn't she just let me have this one thing that was so important to me? She really did not waste any second in overshadowing my announcement and my wedding. Wait, what? Just earlier this morning, I asked Ivan about your wedding, and he told me that you two haven't decided on a date yet. How come you already have one now and it's the same date as mine? Ivan seemed surprised and confused as well with Leela's sudden revelation.
Yeah, we haven't really settled on a date yet, right? When did we talk about this?
Oh, don't be silly, honey. We definitely haven't. You agreed, remember? You forgetful little guy. Yes, it's on September 15 because September 15 was when we first met and then I already knew he was the one. Yeah.
Leela gave Ivan a warning look, urging him to go along with whatever Leela was saying. It's obvious how she's just making this all up on the spot. They probably haven't even discussed about it, but just claimed the same one as her own just to get attention.
I guess it's just meant to be a double celebration. Don't be so selfish, Luna. You can't own a date, plus we're sisters after all.
She made a joke, but I wasn't so pleased about it. On the other hand, my parents seemed thrilled at the idea of a double wedding.
Oh, but it's not a double wedding. I couldn't possibly have my wedding in the same area as yours. Your taste is just, well, let's just say, not for everyone. I want mine to be elegant. It's best to have separate venues, so you guys can just choose which wedding to attend.
Leela huffed, grabbing Ivan's hand, and stormed out of the room. It was tough to keep my cool, and I couldn't help but feel hurt and betrayed by my own sister. As much as I wanted to confront her, I knew it wouldn't lead to anything good. I know she won't back down, so neither will we. I can't just give her everything she wants, so I stood my ground and was firm on our wedding date. I refused to let it overshadow the love and excitement I had for my wedding. I knew that at the end of the day, what mattered most was the love and commitment my partner and I had for each other. As the days passed, our wedding preparations were in full swing. Harry and I were busy finalizing the details for our big day, and I was filled with excitement and anticipation. But little did I know that behind the scenes, my sister Leela was plotting and scheming to make sure that my wedding was a disaster. First, she tried to steal the venue Henry and I had our eyes on. When the news reached Leela on how we got to book the venue first, she confronted Yvonne in a fit of rage.
I can't believe you let Luna take that venue away from us. Did you even fight for it?
Leela, I didn't know you wanted that venue so badly, and besides, she booked it fair and square. Don't you think we should let her have it?
You're so annoying. You don't get it, and you really are good for nothing. I can't even think about marrying you if you can't even do this one thing for me.
Desperate to salvage their relationship, Ivan went to me and pleaded with me to give Leela the venue. He explained how much it meant to her and how devastated she was about losing it. At first, I was hesitant, but I pitied him. All right, Ivan, I understand how much this means to you. I'll allow it. Just this one time, I'll give her the venue, if it will give you both some peace of mind.
Thank you for your kindness, Luna. I owe you one.
The day of our weddings had finally arrived, and I couldn't contain my excitement as I got ready to marry the love of my life, Harry. As the time for the ceremony approached, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. Most of our extended family and friends had chosen to attend Leela's wedding instead, enticed by her promise of expensive souvenirs for the attendees. My parents decided to attend the first half of my wedding and just catch up with Leela's wedding afterwards. In Leela's wedding, horror enveloped her that day. As she slipped into her stunning wedding gown, surrounded by her bridesmaids, her maid of honor handed her the bridal bouquet.
What kind of bouquet is that? This is trash. I can't even bring myself to hold that dirty thing.
Expecting gorgeous blooms, she received a wilted one with petals drooping and edges turning brown.
I don't know. It's what the florist gave me. I'm sorry, Leela.
Her bridesmaids tried to reassure her, but there was little they could do to salvage the bouquet at that point. They speculated that perhaps the flowers had been exposed to too much heat or had been cut too early, causing them to wilt prematurely.
Oh my god, I'm totally suing those florists after this. Such scammers.
Leela felt her heart sink while clutching her sad-looking bouquet. It was far from the glamorous and elegant accessory she had imagined for her wedding day. When the ceremony started, the door finally opened and Leela made her entrance as the bride. But then she got even more mortified. Not only was her bouquet wilted, but so are the floral arrangement decor on the venue. She had no choice but to walk down the aisle surrounded by the scent of decay and walk on disintegrating rose petals guiding her towards the altar. As Leela stood at the altar, she tried to compose herself despite the embarrassment brought by the flowers. But just as they were about to exchange their vows, a loud commotion from outside the venue disrupted the solemn atmosphere. The sound of a man's slurred voice shouting incoherently echoed through the air, drawing everyone's attention away from the ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to have a disturbance outside. Let's give it a moment to settle down.
What's going on out there?
I have no idea. I can't believe they chose to cause a scene today of all days.
I'm the king of the world. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Some guests went outside, approached the drunk man and asked him to leave.
Let's continue. Leela, please say your vows.
Ivan, you've shown me what true love is, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Through thick and thin, I promise to stand by your side and support you in everything you do. I love you more than words can express.
I love weddings. Woohoo! I used to be married once. I remember back in the day.
I'm sorry, Ivan. This is just too much.
As the drunk man continued to disrupt the ceremony with his loud and nonsensical rambling, Leela's frustration reached its peak. With all eyes on her, Leela stepped away from the altar briefly and shouted at the drunk man far away.
Excuse me, sir, this is a private event. Your presence is not welcome here. Please leave immediately.
The guests, who were outside, escorted the drunk man away from the venue, making sure he was safely away from the wedding. Leela had dreamed of this day for so long, imagining herself as a poised and elegant bride, radiating grace and beauty. But because of the drunk man, her shouts were a sharp contrast to the soft and gentle tones she had hoped to use during her vows. Aware that all eyes were on her, she felt a burning flush of embarrassment on her cheeks. As the ceremony concluded, it was time for the highly anticipated cake cutting. Leela tried her best to shake off the humiliation she suffered from earlier and put on a brave smile. As the cake was wheeled in, towering and elegant, Leela's excitement began to build again. She stood side by side with Ivan, ready to share this sweet moment together. But just as they picked up the knife to cut the first slice, a collective gasp echoed through the room. The cake, a masterpiece she had painstakingly chosen and designed, suddenly started to lean, then tilt, and before anyone could react, it came crashing down. Frosting and layers of cake splattered everywhere, creating a scene straight out of a slapstick comedy. And at the center of it all stood Leela. Her expensive dress and her hair and makeup that took hours to complete were now ruined. She was speechless and stunned. This was supposed to be her day, her moment to shine, but it felt like a series of unfortunate events had conspired against her. Leela's eyes widened as the pieces fell into place.
Hold on. Wait a minute. First the flowers, then the drunk man, and now the cake. These are all that I planned to happen at Luna's wedding. She was so frustrated, she didn't realize she was thinking out loud. You idiots, you're all incompetent. I paid you all to do this at St. Mary's Chapel, not here.
This is St. Mary's Chapel.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, about that? Honey, you wanted the venue so bad that we fought over it, remember? I was so scared you would call the engagement off, so I begged your sister to let us have it instead, and she agreed. That's why you were escorted here blindfolded, so nothing would ruin the surprise of the venue switch.
I can't believe this. What have you done? Because of you, everything that I planned to ruin Luna's wedding are now all happening to me. This is a nightmare. This is all your fault. The guests couldn't help but whisper to each other about the unexpected turn of events. Our mother and father just arrived at Leela's wedding from mine. They were quietly observing from the sidelines but heard everything they needed to hear. They realized the true nature of her intentions.
Leela, we didn't know you would take it this far. This is not what we raised you to be. You deserved everything wrong that happened to you today. We're so disappointed in you. We're not funding any of this, and we are never attending any of your wedding again.
As our parents delivered their stern words, Leela was holding back her tears. She had always wanted their approval and admiration, but now she had lost their respect. They turned their backs on her and walked out of the venue as the guests processed what they had witnessed. Some were appalled by Leela's action while others felt sorry for her. Yvonne, hurt by Leela's accusation of ruining her day and her attempts to ruin her own sister's wedding, felt a mix of anger and sadness. He approached Leela with a heavy heart.
All I ever wanted was to make you happy, but I can't stand by and watch you hurt others and yourself like this.
With that, he turned away from her as well and walked away from the altar, leaving Leela standing there in disbelief. The realization of what she had done and the consequences of her actions hit her hard. As time went on, Leela's life collapsed just like her wedding cake. Our parents' disappointment and disapproval of her actions had left a profound impact on their relationship. They became distant from her, no longer communicating with her as they once did. Yvonne's departure on their wedding day marked the end of their relationship as well. Leela's attempts to manipulate and control him pushed him away, and he couldn't bear to be with someone who couldn't see beyond her own desires. Now Leela found herself single and alone, with no one to blame but herself for the mess she had created. On the other hand, my marriage blossomed with each passing day, with my wedding day going perfectly all according to what I imagined it would be. It's just funny how my sister tried to be the baker of her own destiny, but well, sorry to say, karma already had a slice of cake ready for her.